Welcome to the bold analysis. Rigathi Gachagua is asking Kanini Kega, Sabina Chege, and Jubilee leaders who worked with President Uhuru Kenyatta to fold that party and join UDA in Mount Kenya. And according to him, UDA is the mother party for the Mount Kenya. And I looked at that call. Is such a laughable move because according to him, that is what is part of his strategy to manage Mount Kenya succession. Speaking today in Tarakaniti, in a burial ceremony of, I think, a child of a politician, Gachagua spoke passionately and he seems to be reaching out to Uhuru Kenyatta, specifically into Uhuru Kenyatta, so that he can actually make his way to be the next Mount Kenya kingpin. I want to revisit analysis that I once did here before the last general election. And I think I had taken time to speak to my good friend Patrick and a host of some few elders from Nyeri who are telling me that the mountain has three layers. There is Gitonga, where the business community, that is the Mount Kenya Foundation team. Of course, there was the Mount Kenya Foundation team that was supporting Raila, but again, there were also other investors within the region who were supporting William Ruto. So there was that bit, the Gitonga. Then we have the Mudhamaki that belonged to the president, Uhuru, former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. These are the elders, and they wield a lot of power. Then you have the warriors. That's what the group that Moses Kuria was trying to resonate with when he was having the event in Thika. But another interesting bit that came up is the clergy. And in previous election, Mount Kenya politics was shaped most importantly by using the clergy, or rather using the church, as a voice of the society. And it successfully, it was the platform that was used to paint former President Uhuru Kenyatta as a man that did not have the interest of the community. I want to play for you this clip of Rigathi Gachagua speaking on intention that he wants to work with, showing that he wants to work with Uhuru's orphans, as he says that Mount Kenya should not be caught off guard, just like the other time. And according to him, it is time to bring up other leaders so that when transition, after Mount Kenya transition is done, they will not be found off guard. In short, Gachagua is simply saying he wants to vie for president. That's what he's making. And I want us to listen to that clip.
Our young leaders and start preparing them for leadership and start planning succession management. We don't want to be caught in the situation we were caught in as a region. Nobody was mentored. Wale wote walikuwa wanatoa kichwa, wanafanya nini? Hiyo maneno imefika mwisho. Sisi tunataka, tuko na vijana wetu, our young leaders, na huyu msichana huyu kutoka Murang'a anaitwa Bete Esawa. Pigieni makofi. We want these young leaders here, na huyu mwingine kutoka Mukuroini anaitwa John Kagusha. Hata Mukurino ni wa hii group hii ya young ones. Hii Mukurino tumushikilia ama tuachane na yazame? Tumushikilie. Tushikilia hiyo Mukurino. Ni mjumbe wa hapa Runyeje, za ni hatari sana. Huyu mzuri. Tuko na mwingine hapa anaitwa Double N, huyu kutoka Embu. Si tuko na hata Karinda tunamlea polepole. Huyu Karinda, si mnajua Karinda? Huyu wa Embu, huyu sasa baride. Mnataka tuweke fertilizer ama tuweke bolea ile nyingine? Tuweke fertilizer. Aende haraka haraka. We have our young leaders, and I want to give a commitment to the people of this region. the people of this region, we are mentoring our young leaders and we are preparing them for leadership and for great things ahead, because this is our resource, is our future, and we have a responsibility to prepare them so that never again as a community tutapatikana tumekaa bila mpango. So tutapanga hata huyu Sabina Chege mudi ya Jubilee tutaweka fertilizer kuja sawa sawa. Si mnajua huyu Sabina Chege wakuja nyumbani ama wakaa nje? Wakuja nyumbani. Hata kanini tumemleta jana, tunaweka kidogo kidogo, walikuwa wamepotea, tutajaribu kurudisha, kuwapanga panga mpaka waingie laini. Mngetaka tuwapange ama tuachane nao wazame? Hiyo ndivyo mnasema? We'll mentor and we want to bring this mountain together. We want to bring our leaders together as a region. The politics is over. The elections are over. Now it is a time to work and mentor our leaders, irrespective of where they voted.
Revealing behind the scene politics on the transition, the plot is is a very open plot. I think it's a good move, but not strategic. He wants to deface Mount Kenya Party, Jubilee Party, from Mount Kenya. But the reality will dawn on him. I think for over time, I think for the last previous decades, the Mount Kenya has been built. The politics of Mount Kenya have centered around Kenyatta family. And maybe successfully it's facing out. They're facing out Kenyatta family. And there is generational transition. So the young people are coming over to take up those positions. But I don't know to what extent. What I wonder is to what extent that unity might get its way. The mistake I've always said is that Mount Kenya, that UDA party, the certificate of UDA party, the custodian of that certificate is Mama Rachel. That part belongs to William Samoei Ruto. Look at, just look at cabinet. There is a constitutional requirement that for you to join to work in the public service, you must not hold an elective position. Moses Kure is the only person, is the only party from Mount Kenya that folded its party. And before he joined, he was told, you must fold that Chama Cha Kazi party. So the rest of the parties are still there, but there is no party within Mount Kenya that have a visibility within the UDA. So Mount Kenya do not have, and I think the Rigathi Gachaguas and the UDA Mount Kenya wing, they seem to be making an assumption that UDA is their home. UDA is not their home. And the fullness of time, that will be seen. There have been reports that a host of some Kalenjin MPs were even plotting to remove Kimani Ichung'wah as the majority leader. So that rift and Gema tussle at the National Assembly is building pole pole. The foot soldiers, people who are coming out to defend the government, especially, or rather defend Kenya Kwanza at the campaign trail, are retreating. And so the government is left exposed to ridicule and the trivializing aspect by the opposition front. So what I am actually looking here is Gachagua seems to be making a move, and he really stands a good chance maybe to make it, to give it a stamp, but he is his own enemy. You may think that it is, of course, you need to go back to Uhuru Kenyatta, because I subscribe to the ideology of many people that you can't rub off Uhuru Kenyatta, despite the fact that maybe, he was not in the ballot, and so Uhuru Kenyatta never lost. He was not in the ballot. The person that did not become the fifth president is right doing. It's not Uhuru Kenyatta. That narrative was just floated there for convenience, political convenience. But he still has some influence there. In fact, if a decision is to be made who is now the kingpin, is still President Uhuru Kenyatta. It took time for William Ruto to take over from Moi in Rift Valley. Moi left government in 2002, but he still had a voice until the Pentagon team came through. Then from 2007, William Ruto took over. It was never instant. And President Uhuru Kenyatta is now an elder. Gachagua is his own enemy. And I want to say that unless he keeps his intention under the bed, you should never supersede your boss. An ambition to vie for presidency and more leaders in Mount Kenya, that ambition is in conflict with what his boss is after. William Ruto's plan is to be the de facto leader of Mount Kenya and Rift Valley. So anyone who wants to bring that conversation into the fold will actually cross the red line with William Ruto. But I am not surprised that that is not a test he's going to fail because he's a student of President Ruto. President Ruto crossed the red line, did not serve the purpose, rather, did not really work well in the second term with former President Uhuru Kenyatta, and they had to fall out because he laid his ambitions open. Gachagua is following the same route and is now laying his intentions quite open. With that, he's out for any other weapon can be formed against him. But maybe, perhaps he overcomes that. Uruto says, okay, we do clean politics, you organize Mount Kenya, it's fine. But the other thing that shall come to haunt is shedding off is Mount Kenya activism. Mount Kenya activism is a situation where you have created another narrative, rather perception amongst the people of Kenya that you only lobby for Mount Kenya. He's attending anything Mount Kenya. That aspect, he will actually create Gema become an enemy of the rest of the country. Remember, there are talks of rotation of presidency. Raila, and I want to say that Raila may not be in the ballot again. Musalia Mudavadi is now there. William Ruto is now there. We are coming from Kikuyu Kalenjin presidency. Then here you also have vice presidents who want to rise. And again, it's a situation where a vice president rising to become the president. He seems to want to go Ruto way. The Ruto has done it. But then, for you to make a very good start, you must shed off that Mount Kenya turn in you. You must not be a leader of Mount Kenya. So that even that ambition that you are trying to bring together, I vie for president, fine. He seems to be saying he's going to vie for president. That ambition must be harbored by the rest of the country. Otherwise, it will become. I don't know whether you think Gachagua can win presidency. I don't know. I don't want to rule him out. That is something. And someone close to Gachagua should tell Gachagua that, look here, embrace West. Embrace the West. Embrace Mudavadi, embrace Raila. And in fact, that Raila attack line, I don't know what's so much into it. I don't know what the juicy part in it. Because he's no longer into the politics of the country. He's no longer into it. So you must embrace Mudavadi. Embrace the West. Because it will most likely be alliance of the West in the mountain. Without that, the only team that now wants power is the West. After Raila, it's going to be another year. It will actually go to the West. The West people are now going to push. So, and if you don't go to the West, you need to go to the East. You need to go to the Kalonzos. That is it. Lastly, in that event I saw Karina saying that he has forgiven another left Kinoti. I want to take it. Stop attacking Uhuru and sympathizers. The revenge mission will work against you because the people you are fighting are also bearing the tag of the community. But if you don't fight this, in fact, instead of fighting them, work with them. Protect. There should be some sort of protectionism, because without that, they will fight against you. Or they will make other formations that will go against that ambition. And these are four things that will totally complicate Mount Kenya succession. I can tell you there is nothing like Mount Kenya succession Gachagua is talking about. Gachagua is talking about vying for presidency. Him going for presidency. That's it. And that is the message he wanted to send to William Ruto. Ladies and gentlemen, it might be too early. What do you think are the real intentions of Gachagua? And with the conduct, with the public ridicule that has been subjected to, does this stand a chance?